welcome to our show. Today we're going to make a homemade lasagna. This lasagna I pieced together from different recipes from all over Europe, including Italy and France. Now normally I would make the noodles the fresh way, using a pasta roller like this. This one is very nice and you can roll out your pasta fresh. But today, for the sake of time, I'm going to use the pasta from Barilla. This is a nice pasta because it doesn't require pre-cooking. And I like it because it is also from Italy, which is where I'm not from. But I like the place and hope to visit it someday. So these noodles are nice because they don't have the ridges, and sometimes they do, but these ones don't. But these ones you just bake directly with lasagna, which is what I like to do. And so that is what we are going to do. That's why it requires no boiling. So these ones are what we are going to use. Okay, so we're going to have the pasta, the cottage cheese, the mozzarella cheese, the Italian sausage. This is mild flavor. Fresh homemade tomatoes. Not so fresh tomato sauce. And the ricotta cheese. We have the garlic also. And I think that is the only vegetables that we'll be using. This is actually kind of more a herb. Okay, so we have our garlic here. And we're going to take these garlics. And we're going to press it. So we can put it in and start to season it with the olive oil. This is the extra virgin olive oil from Pompeii. I don't know if it really comes from there, but it says it is Pompeian. So I assume that that is where it's from. Imported from Baltimore, Maryland. Okay, so we have the garlic here, and I have taken 3 cloves. And we want to get off these beads because we do not want them in the sauce. Because they are hard to chew, and they do not taste very good. What we're going to do is we're going to take these and crouch them. And when we crouch them, then we can pull off the nasty beads and throw them in the trash. And only use the juicy beads. So we smoosh it like this. And then you can go in here like this and pull off all the crepe and throw it away. Isn't that lovely? It's beautiful, just like that. And I'm going to do the same to this one, like so. Now this one, you notice, it already had all the crispy bits taken off, so that's ready to slice. Oh, listen to that crunch. That means that we have the pieces here that are crepe, and we do not want them in our lasagna. So we're going to put them in the trash. Hopefully, if we can get all the bits off. Like this. Look at that, it's beautiful. And so what I like to do, is I like to take this garlic, and I like to take the little bits like this, and slice it, like that. And then, I can go in here, and chop it, like this. Beautiful. Now this is ready to put in the sauce. Okay, see that? This is how the garlic should look. Okay, now we are ready to start. So bring the camera over here. We're going to take this pan. And we're going to take this Pompeian olive oil. And we're going to put some oil in the center of the pan. About like that. And then we're going to heat up the olive oil a little bit. So I turn it to the high heat, but not for very long. Normally I wouldn't use the high heat. But this is an electric stove. And the electric stoves take a minute to heat up. And so, because of that, if I had the gas stove, I'd probably take it right to medium. But for now, we're going right to high. And you can see, it's not so slippery. It sticks to the center. So I want to keep it there until it's slippery. And it slides all over the bottom of the pan. Okay, so you notice this is heated up nicely. And now the oil is nice and slippery. And it coats the pan like that. So I'm going to turn down the sauce because I do not want it to burn. And we'll use, there we go, the wooden spear. I'm going to take the garlic. And, oh, listen to that nice sizzle. That means it is ready. Look at this. Beautiful. And I sizzle the garlic just a little bit. I don't want to do it too much. Only till it's golden brown. So I move these babies around like this. Oh, and look at this, it gets so nice. A good shot of that. See how they're starting to get golden brown there? It's beautiful. Okay, now we're ready to add the meats. Like I say, this is the Italian sausage. This is mild. You can make it hot or spicy, or not so spicy. This one is not so spicy. Sometimes you can even use the ground beef. But I like the Italian sausage because it reminds me of that place that I want to visit someday, but I've never been to, because it is filled with water and you have to have boats to travel. And I do not have a boat, so I'm going to stay here and make the lasagna. And close my eyes and pretend that I'm in Italy again. Well, not again, because I've never been there before. So now I have the sausage, and we're going to put it in to the pan. And sometimes you want the fresh sausage, but I got this one from Johnsonville because it was just at the store, and that is what I decided to use. Turn that down just a little bit more. And I'm going to let this kind of chop up a bit. And you want it into the pretty small pieces. You do not want a big chunk of meat in your lasagna. You want them to be a little bit fine. And as you chop up these meats, you will see it will start to make these nice little balls. They will be perfect for our lasagna that we are going to make today. Okay, so I'm going to cook this until it is brown, and then we will continue on with our show. Okay, welcome back to the show. So, you look at here, we have this beautiful color. It's starting to get lightly brown, but you see how these are nice little pieces, not too big, just the right size. And this garlic is mixed in, and I wish the cameras could make a smell, because this would smell very good. Okay, now we need to drain this, so that we don't have all the greases inside the lasagna. So we're going to take it over here, and I'm going to drain this. And now we have this meat that is ready to have this sauce. Okay. So now, come back over here. We're going to turn this on to low, and come over here and prepare our sauce. So, we have the tomato sauce, and I have my tomatoes. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to open up the sauce. Whoopsie daisy. And I'm going to add the sauce into the meat like this. I have messed up my shirt. But that's okay, because that's cooking. Okay. Now we need to take care of these tomatoes. These are fresh tomatoes, canned with love in 2011. These are fresh ones. So with my muscles, I'm going to open the can. Maybe. So hello, these are the tomatoes. We need to pour them into the bowl, like this. I don't want all the juicy parts, because that will make our lasagna too soggy and too juicy. We just want to take the tomatoes, like these, and put them on the cutting board. Now these ones are so juicy and just ready that we won't have to do too much to them. They're beautiful. But we do want to slice them a bit, so they're not too big. Okay. And people have asked me in the past, why don't they put them in a strainer? Because you can. And my answer to them is usually, because I like getting down and dirty with these babies. They are beautiful tomatoes, and why would you want to not touch them and hold them? Okay. But we do want to cut them a little bit, because if we don't cut them, then somebody, sometime, is going to get a bite of a big giant tomato, and they're going to say, this lasagna is all tomato and no lasagna. And then, the other person next to him is going to say, I didn't have enough tomato in my lasagna. It's all lasagna and no tomato. So come over here. We're going to take this like this. It's a little bit juicy, so I might have some spears. And we're going to dump it, just like that. And you notice if we put in the others, that would be way too juicy and too soggy. Let us come over here and mix this and see how beautiful this was. I love this. this is nice. This is going to make a nice sauce. As I stir it in here, I'm going to turn up the heat just a little too high until it starts to boil. Once it starts to boil, I'm going to bring it down to simmer and let the juices flow from these babies. Okay, now I'm going to add some spices. And what I have here, this is the basil. And also I have the sugar. And I like the sugar because this tomato sauce is a little bit tangy. And we like to sweeten it up just a little bit. And so that is kind of one of the things that I like to put in my sauce. Not enough so it makes it too sweet, you understand. But just enough so that it doesn't make it too tart and too tangy. So I put in about like that. And then the sugar, I come in here and I don't take it too much. Just a couple little sprinkles like that. And maybe another one like that. And possibly, because this is a big one and I'm feeling a little bit sweet, we'll put in another one just like that. And that's going to be beautiful. Okay. Let's stir up these babies just a little. And look at that. Okay, so now we're stirring these lasagnas sauce. And we're going to bring this to a boil. And then once this is boiling, we bring it to a simmer. And we'll leave it uncovered for a little bit. And we leave it uncovered so that it will the juices will come out faster. Once the juices are down to where we want them to be, we'll cover it for a few minutes. And then we'll make our lasagna. And while this is simmering, we'll start making our white sauce with the cheese of different types. Okay, so you see this is nice and boiling now. And so now we're going to take this and we're going to bring it down. I'm not going to go all the way to low, just a little bit so that it'll simmer a little faster. So we've reached the halfway point, and this is a good time because we can celebrate with our favorite drink. Today's favorite drink is the Mountain Dew without sugar. Beautiful. Welcome back to our show. Alright, we now have this beautiful sauce that is cooking on the stove. And we're going to now make our white sauce with the cheese. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the eggs. And I like to take 2 eggs for my sauce. We're going to break the eggs into the bowl and throw them into the trash over here. Like this. Beautiful eggs. And then we're going to take the cottage cheese and the ricotta cheese. Now, why do I use the cottage cheese and the ricotta? I like to get the different types of cheeses and mix with the mozzarella. And it gives that little bit of creamy sauce. And because I just like to do the different types, that is all. So I'm going to open these babies up and plop it in there just like that. And then I'm going to take the cottage cheese, like this, and pour in that babies like that. And now we'll take our spatula here and start to blend up the ricotta cheese and the cottage cheese with the eggs. And then we'll add a little bit of basil. And then our white sauce will be ready to put in the lasagna. So we come in here like this. We stir it all up. And this is nice. These juicy little babies. So I have the basil here. And now I start to mix it in. Now just sprinkle along the top like that. Get a close-up of this and show how nice this sauce is looking. Look at that. The eggs have blended nicely with the cottage cheese and the ricotta. And now we look, make sure there's no lumps. The sauce is done. Okay, welcome back to our show. Now that the sauce is simmering nicely and the white sauce is ready, we're going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 375. And while that's heating up, we will start to get ready our mozzarella cheese. Okay, so now I have this beautiful block of cheese. I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it into pieces like this. so that we can put it in the food processor. And sometimes I will get the expensive mozzarella, but since this is a cheaper cooking show, and I do not have a lot of money, we'll go ahead and use this one. So bring it over here and we'll show you. This food processor you can use. It's $24.95 at Walmart, at least when I bought it a year ago. Now it might be $29.95 because it was on sale. So I'm going to put it in here, these chunks, just like this. And then I'm going to turn this on to pulse. And we're going to watch these babies shred. Okay, I'm going to taste my sauce and see how it's coming. Beautiful. But I think it needs a little bit more of the sweets because of those fresh tomatoes. So I'm going to take 2 little bit more and pinch them in there like this. Take away a little bit of the tanginess of those tomatoes. Alright, so let's mix this like this. You can see the sauce is just about ready. Beautiful sauce. Basic good sauce. The sauce is now perfect, and now we can finish and get the lasagna ready to prepare. So I'm going to get the pieces ready, and then we'll make our lasagna. Okay, so now sauce is ready. Both sauces, the white sauce, the red sauce, and we have the beautiful cheese that is not white, as you can see. And we're ready to put these babies together. Here's my lasagna pan. I generally like to use metal pans, not the glass ones. It's just a preference because when I was in France, the people that showed me how to make the good lasagnas always used the metal pans and said that it holds the flavor in a little bit better. So that is what we're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to take this pan. I'm going to take this, just a little bit of spray, and we're going to coat the pan just lightly so that the pieces don't stick, just like that. Not too much. Okay, let's put these together. So, first of all, what we're going to do is take a bit of the sauce and spread it along the bottom. This gives it the bottom coating. You don't do a lot, just enough. This is so that when we put in the lasagna noodles, they don't stick to the bottom very easy. So now we're going to take lasagna noodles. And these, like I said, are pretty nice. And so, this pan holds 4 lasagna noodles. Like this. 3. Like this. 4. Like this. Overlapping just a little bit. In this first set, sometimes, it is a little bit slippery when I put down the sauce. So, I like to hold it just a little bit while I'm putting on the sauce the first time. The next time, they're a little bit stickier. So, take the sauce, the white sauce, and we put a little blob. Now you notice that these don't go all the way to the sides. That's okay. The juiciness of the lasagna will soak into the noodles, and the noodles will then spread and grow to the sides. And you'll notice when this is done that it will be beautiful and cover the entire pan. We don't have to worry about that right now. Okay. Now, take some more of the red sauce and put the blob of each sauce. And you have to kind of guess how much you need, because you have to have enough to cover all of your pasta sheets. Now, we take some of this beautiful cheese, like this, and we sprinkle it on our lasagna. Okay. Now we're ready for the next layer of sheets. So here we have the next layer of sheets. And they're going to fit in here a little bit more solid. And again, like I say, do not worry if they do not touch the sides, because they will. And do not make a smaller pan, because they will overflow when you try to pull it out, and that would be bad. Okay. Okay. And now some more of the meat sauce. When you notice, I counted my lasagna noodles. I have enough for 2 more bases, which means 1 more layer and then the top layer. And so we need enough meat for this layer, and then we need enough meat for the next layer, and then we will have all of the lasagna. Because the top layer, yeah, we'll see on the top layer. Beautiful. And then the cheese. You can tell this is a very cheesy lasagna. And spread. And so this is, like I said, 3 cheeses. Sometimes I will mix a little bit of Parmesan cheese in with the mozzarella, so when I sprinkle it down, it fits nicely. Okay. Now, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then the sauce we sprayed somehow. That's alright. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sauce. Okay. Now it's quite as much, so we have some for the top. Okay. This is the top layer. We do not put the white sauce. What we do is we take the rest of the red sauce, like this. Whatever's left, and we put it on the top. Just for color, a little bit of color. There's not very much here. So you just run it just kind of down the middle like this. Look at that, it's beautiful. Just to give it a nice little bit of color when we pull this out of the oven. Okay. Okay. And then we take the rest of the cheeses and sprinkle it lightly across the top. And as we do this, the top will be a little bit more crispy and the bottom one's a little more soggy. But we know that as we finish this lasagna and pull it out of the oven, that it's going to be nice and bubbly. So we're going to have the juices of the cheese and the sauce, and then it's going to be nice and bubbly for the rest. So here we go, it's beautiful lasagna. Now it seems a little juicy, but you have to remember, this lasagna is a little juicy because it has to cook the noodles, because the noodles they're dry. Now we take these things here and we put it over the top and we cover the lasagna and we bake it in the oven for 55 minutes. Why not 60, you say? That is because after the 55 minutes we will take the lasagna top out and let it get a little crispy on top for the last 5 or 10 minutes. So we take this and put it in like this, and we close the ovens, and now we set the timers. We go for this many 55 minutes. We'll come back and take off the lasagna and see how we're doing. Hello, welcome back to our show. Okay, so the lasagna baked, and we have this bread that we are going to put in. But first, you notice how clean the kitchen is. And that is because we cleaned up our mess. And that is because once upon a time, I heard a wise man say something very important to me. He always says, clean up your crap. Don't let your crap sit around your kitchen for too long. So that's what we did. So now we have this bread. We still have 10 minutes before we take off the lasagna tin foils. So what we're going to do is we're going to get something that we can push lasagna over like that. And then we're going to stick in these breads, like so. And come up here and reset these timers for 10 minutes. Once that beeps, we will leave the bread in, but then we will take off the tin foils and let it continue baking for another 5 to 10 minutes along with the bread, and then we'll be ready to serve our beautiful lasagna. Okay, you'll notice the timer has stopped. So now we're going to pull out the lasagna, but not the other way, just the tinfoil parts. So our bread is smelling very good, but the lasagna, we now have to take off the tinfoil. And it's very cheesy, so we're going to have to pull this out. Alright, that's not too bad. That's a little bit on there. It will be fine. It's very nice. So we're going to put it back here. And let the top crisp for just a few more minutes. So I set the timer for 5 more, maybe 6 more minutes. And then we'll come back and check. Okay, we're going to check this now. So open up this oven slowly, and it's very hot. So be careful. And let's look at these babies. Now you notice it got a little bit browner up top. That's exactly what we want. It only took about 6 minutes to get that. That is a beautiful lasagna. Made a little bit of a boo-boo there. But you can see, you can hear it. Put the camera up so you can hear, not too close. It's nice and bubbly. It's beautiful, these things. You can hear it, and this is going to taste very good. You do not want to cut the lasagna for 10 to 15 more minutes. Otherwise, when you cut, it'll be too juicy and too soggy. So, we're going to leave this here for a minute. Set the timer for 10 minutes. Maybe 12. And come back, and then we should be just about ready to wrap these babies up and cut our lasagna so you can see how it looks on the inside. Let's check out our lasagna. So let's bring it over here. It's beautiful. We'll cut this a slice. You can see how the lasagna noodles have come almost to the edges. They're nice and beautiful. These top ones are a little bit crunchy, and we like that because it adds to the texture of the lasagna that we want. So we're going to sit here and we're going to cut just a little bit down here. We'll cut just a little piece here, kind of halfway, so that you can see. Beautiful. Okay, let's get in here and pull out one of these babies. And let's see how this looks. Guys, this is a beautiful lasagna. Nice amount of cheese. And again, like I said, this is a very cheesy lasagna. It's got the meats in it, but you can see it's beautifully textured, nice and thick. Little bit of the meat sauce on the top and throughout the center. But not too much to make it soggy. It was nice and bubbly when it came out, and now we've got the nice cheeses. Loads and loads of cheese. And then we can take these and bring a slice like this. And then we can take this and set it just like this next to the plate. But now you see you have a beautiful plate with this beautiful lasagna and this garlic cheese bread that will make a wonderful meal. So, that's it for the show. Thank you for watching. My name is, as always, not important. But like I always say, you are to eat. So if you're going to eat, eat good stuff.